So, like most of you, I got into Zen practice because clearly this was the most efficient way to develop Jedi powers. If you look at all the different Buddhist practices, Zen is clearly the most direct path to learning how to levitate objects. And I was thinking about a conversation I had with a good friend of mine who a lot of you know, Seisho, or Rob from Red Rose Sangha. He and I were actually going up to Pennsylvania for a zazen kai at Red Rose, and we were in the car talking about Buddhist practice, and we got onto a discussion about kensho and big experiences and special powers, and we were both joking. I was asking him, have you learned any Jedi powers yet? And he said no. And I said, yeah, me neither. I was sort of hoping when I received Dharma transmission, I would at least learn like force choking or something. And I didn't. And we were joking that like maybe if we like really practiced hard, eventually we would learn how to like create like a force tickle in somebody's throat. Like if they were talking, maybe they like like that'd be the best we could do. I've been getting a lot of I get a lot of questions. I'm guessing that you do too when you go to a sesshin or a longer retreat, or somebody asks you about your Zen practice, like, why do you do that? What's in that for you? And the answer, I think, probably you can come up with one, but my guess is that it's sort of like, I don't know, or it just feels right, or I just keep doing it. It's not a very satisfying answer, so that's why I usually say, well, I'm trying to develop force powers. And I've been getting questions a lot lately about next weekend, next Saturday, I'm going to be ordained as a novice priest in Unsue, in a ceremony called Shuke Tokudo. And people have asked, why are you making that choice? And I've been joking, well, because this is clearly the next step to developing force powers. And I'm going to be a Sith dark force user, and my ministry is going to be focused mainly on dark force aligned people who want to find the way. Believe it or not, there are, especially in the not too distant past, there have been many prospective students of the way who specifically sought out practice, Zen practice, and other Buddhist practices to develop special powers. And I know I'm being kind of silly with the whole force powers thing, but my guess is that some of you might have actually sought out Zen because you're looking for a type of special power, which is to find a way to, kind of deal with thoughts and feelings and other types of suffering in a different way. Like somehow you will be able to come up with a strategy or a perspective or a practice or an insight that will save you. In some sort of miraculous way. And there's a story I really love about Master Kyozan and an arhat that visited him looking for teaching about the occult power of Zen. So an arhat, if you're not familiar with that term, is someone who has, through their study of the sutras, reached a state of enlightenment or understanding. Arhats don't take a bodhisattva vow, though. So they're kind of more in it for themselves to reach a state of enlightenment. They don't then feel a compelling need to teach and save others. So here's the story. Once a great arhat used his special powers to fly to meet Master Kyozan. And Kyozan asked him, when did you leave India? So this is a Zen question. It's a checking question. So Kyozan is asking something that sounds like an ordinary question, like, when did you leave India? But he's really trying to test this arhat's enlightenment. Like, does he really understand? And no, the arhat doesn't. He said, oh, this morning. Yeah, I left this morning. And then Kyozan said, you left India this morning and just arrived now? What took you so long? So he's having fun with this arhat who used special powers to fly from India to, I guess, China. And he's not impressed. Not impressed with his special powers. So the arhat said, well, I was sightseeing here and there. I guess if you're flying over, India and Tibet and all that, you want to take in the sights. And then Kyozan scolded him. He said, you have some occult power, but you have never even dreamed of the great occult power in true Buddhism. It's said that when the arhat returned to India, he praised Kyozan highly, saying, I went to China to meet Manjushri, but I was lucky enough to meet a little Shakyamuni. So Manjushri, bodhisattva of wisdom, and Manjushri usually is depicted with a sword that cuts through delusion. So this arhat was looking for someone who was going to help him develop some special powers, cut through some more delusion. But he actually found a true teacher. So what is the great occult power in true Buddhism? Well, there's another koan that I've spoken about before. And that koan is, ordinary mind is the way. Master Joshu asked his teacher, what is the way? And Nansen said, ordinary mind is the way. Several years ago, Ryotan Roshi from the village Zendo came down to do a Jukai ceremony for us. And he posed a question. He said, what is the purpose of practicing the precepts? And then he gave an answer, and he said, to be a decent, ordinary human being. That is kind of a special power. It is really hard to be a decent, ordinary human being consistently. Circumstances, our karma, the weather, all can make it very difficult for us to be decent and ordinary. And sometimes really ordinary days are the hardest to live through, like February days that are cold and rainy and boring, like Wednesdays or something. So, I think maybe there is a special power that you can develop in Zen practice. And it's so special that you're almost like a ninja. Nobody will know you have it necessarily, or be able to put their finger on it. But it's the power to, regardless of circumstances, be upright and do the best you can to not let whatever winds are blowing internally and externally determine how you show up. Just like in zazen, we maintain the posture no matter what. We might adjust here and there, but it's the same posture every day, every time we practice, no matter what's happening internally or externally. We breathe in and we breathe out, and we keep our back straight and our eyes open, and we open the hand of thought over and over and over again. Meeting each moment and doing our best to stay open to it. Trying to live on the ground of reality and have a stable life in the midst of instability and chaos. So if you think about it, if you had to choose between a path that would help you to develop force lightning, party tricks, or one that would help you to meet every moment, or at least have the chance to meet every moment with equanimity and poise, which would you choose? If you're going to look for a way to learn force lightning, I wouldn't recommend zazen practice. I have not been successful yet in uncovering that secret. But I'll keep you posted if after Shuke and my priest training I do develop it. I will demonstrate some of those powers for you. But until then, maybe we can all continue to practice the Buddha way together, the way of being ordinary, decent human beings.